Today we are on the Caribbean island of Barbados. Only a real history buff would know that this was the destination for George Washington when he traveled here with his brother Lawrence in 1751. They came here in hopes of curing an illness from which Lawrence was suffering. He was only 19 years old at the time, and it was Washington's only trip abroad. The house where he stayed still stands and can be found on the site of the historic garrison Savannah, which was formerly the parade ground for West Indies regiments stationed here in the 17th and 18th centuries. Today it has been converted into offices, but it is easily identified by the ruin of this coral stone windmill. Today we're in Bridgetown, the capital of Barbados. Just walking around and checking out the scenery.
When George Washington came to Barbados in November 1751, Bridgetown was the largest city of English settlers in the New World. Barbados was in a favorable location of the Caribbean. It was a vital link on the trade routes from Europe to North America. It provided sailing ships with a safe harbor to replenish supplies after the Atlantic crossing. Ships would pick up valuable products like sugar, molasses, and rum for the trip north. As a result of the vibrant trade economy, Barbados became a cultural center as well as a therapeutic resort for those suffering from respiratory illnesses, such as George's brother, Lawrence. Before George Washington traveled to Barbados, he knew he would be among friends and family. The Rumbaugh, Partiger, Tyrol, and Pope families were already among those established within high society. Barbados was so popular, in fact, that it actually became crowded. Wealthy families moved northward to other established seaports like Charleston, Williamsburg, and Philadelphia. The Washingtons were also well acquainted with government officials in the capital of Bridgetown. Although the plan was to cure the illness of Lawrence, within 3 weeks of arrival, it was George Washington who came down with smallpox and was confined to this house. He did soon recover from the potentially deadly disease, and the significance of this cannot be overlooked. As a result of having the illness, during the Revolutionary War, George Washington was immune to smallpox. The commander of the Continental Army could lead and still give comfort to so many of his troops who suffered and died from smallpox. Had it not been for his earlier trip to Barbados, George Washington might have fallen victim to the illness himself before he could rally his army to victory. Despite the bout with smallpox, George Washington gained valuable insights to the ways and weapons of the British Army, who were later to become his adversaries.
This was found this outside a rum shop, and it was standing up in the air with about that much of the end of the barrel showing, and a very famous rum shop called John Moore's up the west coast. So I went in and asked him if he minded whether we'd move it, and he said, "I only wish you would, because," he said, "when my customers come out of the rum shop, they keep on staggering over this cannon." So we took it away and discovered that it was a very rare one indeed. This is a biggie. This is a 32-pounder. And again, it's got the Tudor rose and crown on it. There's another beautiful 10-foot gun, rose and crown again. This is the longest gun in the collection. Again, a rose and crown. We're all dating them around about 1670, or somewhere around that date.
We were fortunate to get a guided tour from Major Michael Hartland, who is an expert on 17th century cannons. He served with the British Army for many years in Barbados and just recently retired.
The only way to get up it is up these very dangerous looking steps. And in old prints and pictures you see a flag flying there from a big flag flying, so somebody had to go up there every morning and put it up, and every evening brought it down. This is the main guard. It is the only building of its kind known to exist in the world. We've done some research on it, and there isn't another building like it anywhere. Now that wall goes round the back of all these trees, and we'll see it when we drive around. We'll see bits of it every now and again. Over in the corner is the museum, which was the jail. And then the wall comes at the back of the grandstand onto the sea by the yacht club, and the whole of that was the garrison historic area. I'm glad to say that about 60 buildings of the original garrison are still remaining. One has to ask why it was so important. Barbados, the British Crown, and it was realized right in the early days. 1627, the first settlers arrived. They realized from the early days that if you held Barbados, you held the key to the rest of the Caribbean. From Barbados, you can get in a sailing ship in the old days, and you could be down in Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent in less than no time at all. Wind behind you, current behind you, sea behind you, and it was easy. So it gives you some idea of the history of the militia. And of course it's still going today in the form of the Barbados Regiment.
For our bicycle ride, we chose the northwest side of the island through an area called Spadestown. Just a little farther down the coast is where the British first landed on Barbados in 1627. Even before that, the Spanish were the first European explorers to discover the island in 1492. It was the Portuguese explorer Pedro Campos who gave the island its name when he stopped here on his way to Brazil.
I like all these boats alongside the road.
Shipbuilding continues today much as it did in earlier times.
Town.